Welcome back, you guys. Here we begin part 2 of my North Korea experience. So in this episode, we're actually going to be heading out of Pyongyang, but before we do that, we're going to visit the birthplace of leader Kim Il-sung.
Great-grandparents of President Kim Il-sung moved here to this gravekeeper's cottage to promise to the landlord to look after this area because their life was very poor, that they couldn't afford a house. So from great-grandparents' generation, 4 generations of President Kim Il-sung's family lived here until time of liberation. So this is the house where he was born, and he harbored revolutionary influence from his parents and grandparents here.
Afterwards, we headed to the southern city of Kaesong. We welcomed new and unique hotel accommodation. Not ideal for all body types. Oh, and there was this very strange hallway. Don't ask, because I don't know. We took a quick stop at the UNESCO World Heritage Site Koryo Museum, a museum dedicated to local history. Now, honestly, video can't capture the beauty of this place, and if I can remember correctly, I think some of these trees were 1,000 years old. This sign shows how cows used to be worth more than a human. The museum also featured traditional pottery and metalwork created in the area. Next, we're going to head to the DMZ, or the Demilitarized Zone. Now, this area was once called by President Clinton the scariest place on Earth. Now, I didn't really get that vibe, but it was still very exciting to see it.
This black line that divides our country, that is the military demarcation line. So from that military demarcation line, 2 kilometers to the north and 2 kilometers to the south, this is DMZ. So this 4 kilometer section altogether of DMZ is made to prevent, it's a buffer zone to prevent conflict between both sides.
We started in the negotiations hall, which was created for negotiating the treaty during the war. Next, we walked over to the North Korea Peace Museum, which featured what we were told were the original tables and flags used when the treaty was signed. We then arrived at the actual border between the two countries. Sometimes you can enter these blue buildings, which are where negotiations are held. This is also the only place where the South Korean tourists are allowed to enter the DPRK, even if it's only for a couple of feet. Here you can see the actual line dividing the North and the South. So we actually saw some US soldiers on the South Korean side, and I really wanted to be like, my brothers! But I thought it might not have gone over very well in my present situation. We then went for a traditional Korean meal. The more gold bowls you get, the more respected you are. Oh, and then I ate something a bit controversial.
Okay, I'm gonna get it. A good chunk. Oh, here we go. Dog soup. I'm sorry, Mr. Bingley.
Fido was looking at you with sad eyes.
So how is it?
It's spicy.
Oh, but it's good?
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, it's really spicy. Okay, should I
Thumbs
stop
up.
it?
Yeah, that's good.
Then we headed to the International Friendship Exhibition Center, where over 100,000 presents gifted to the leaders are displayed.
It's okay. No pressure. Don't need to stop.
Next, it was on to a 1,000-year-old Buddhist monastery that dates back to the Koryo dynasty. The monastery is home to 20 monks, and not many more believers reside in the entire country. Then it was back to Pyongyang. We made a stop at the entrance to the city to view the reunification monument. One lady represents North Korea while the other represents the South. Our final stop was at the Victorious Fatherland Liberation War Museum, a museum dedicated to the Korean War. And let me just tell you, they did not seem to fancy Americans at this museum. We also viewed the USS Pueblo, a spy ship captured by the Koreans, and boy are they proud of this puppy! Inside the Pueblo, we watched a video about the capture and viewed memorabilia from the crew. I couldn't film inside the museum, so you're gonna have to check out my travel blog for that, but we ended our day with delicious Korean barbecue.